Hey guys, it's Rick. Yeah, I was wondering if you guys want to go on a science trip tonight. You know, it is science. You know, we're talking about the stars in the sky, the constellations, the different signs, the 12 zodiacs, signs. In the Bible, they call it the Mazzaroth, which just means, it's like a type of zoological thing, the Zodiac, these half man, half animal type of things that go on. Well, that's how you can tell what they are when they're talking about them in the Bible. And this is basically to help you along that line of the number 4 in our processes of learning how to read the Bible correctly. It's really good to have an idea of what it means, what it actually kind of means behind that. And all of the numbers are pretty simple, except for that 4 about the world, about the, I'm going to have to give me a new pair of glasses. A world is situated along the lines of your world, the earth and heaven. This is the world, is around your head, all right? And the way they work it out is it's like it would be like a globe or a compass, and you would have a north, and always to the right is going to be the east, and bottom is south, and south is your body, the physical you, and of course the east, is that it? Yeah, the east, is that the east? Whichever one of those is the spiritual side, so let me get this right, because this is my right hand, so this is my spiritual side, this is my the left side would wind up being my carnal side, and of course we have the north is our emotions, and our south becomes the physical side of us. These are the natures of us, and of course these also correspond to the 4 horsemen that show up at the end of the story, and like what you ride as a horse, get up off your high horse and stuff like that. There's a reason for the horse. The horse has to do with, restoring and memory and strength. And so, like I told you one time, that as soon as they cut off the head to Medusa, that Pegasus was born out of her neck. And of course that came from her being separated, what's above and from below, this idea of cutting off, it's a meditation thing, and then what you're looking for is to get restored. And so Pegasus climbs and climbs and climbs, and his hoof kicks a fountain loose atop a mountain, and all this beautiful stuff comes down and rains upon the earth. So, it's just one of those stories that works along the same lines, and shows you how it all ties in together. And Perseus was the one that cut her head off, And of course, if you were to find her and looked at her, she would turn you to stone, all right? So all of these have these wonderful little pieces and snippets in it, and they all are saying the same thing. So what I was doing today was I took a little time off to look in Genesis, and I said, I know I haven't finished up some parts of Genesis. And this particular one was after Jacob and all this business. His sons are getting old. I think he's been reunited with the son, and they've gotten through the years, the 7 plagues, or the 7 years of plagues and famines, or 7 years of famine. And well, anyways, what happens is in those 7 years of famine, the way it all comes down is it says, you should go when you can. This idea that, while you're still and while you have the time right now, because, the story was he had a dream, the Pharaoh had a dream, and it was ears of corn that were really fat, delicious, and they had these little skinny little cows come up and look really ravenous and chew them all down and eat them to nothing. And so, it was this idea that there was going to be plenty for 7 years, and then there was going to be a drought for 7 years. So it was just really telling you that there are some days that you're going to be able to get up, and sometimes you're not going to be able to. And that's when the famine hits. That's a famine in the land, all right? And so, it's telling you to, get going now, get some now while you can, don't hesitate, So, it doesn't cost anything, but it's a type of, do it, come and get it now while you can, and it's free, But these all run in the numbers, 1, 2, 3 through 9. The story still works with this here. And I'm going to tell you real fast before we get going how this is all going to work out. I have to do a little synopsis of it. And usually, like in writing, your first paragraph is what you would write that was going to sum everything up. And so what I'm going to put out to you is that these are the children of Jacob. Between him, his wife Leah, his wife's sister Rachel, and another couple of half sisters, a lady named Bela and Ziplah. All right. Well, these are their maids. All right. So the only real wife in this situation is Leah. She's the one that has all the magic children because these are all gifts. All right, because she was barren. But you can intercourse with the left side all the time, and that's what all these maids are and servants. These are people this is representing the left side. So what you wind up with is 12 boys and 1 girl. Now, I have been spending a lot of time trying to find out where Ephraim and this Manahasseth fit into the regular children, because these are the numbers in the tribes of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel work out on a wheel as the constellations as well. Okay? But in the process of writing them down, and they said these guys are this group camps to the east, this group camps to the west, this group camps to the south, this one camps to the north. And as you find out in the writings, that each one of those names means something about, about that region. And of course, this is talking about our psyche, all right? And so, I don't think they go through any colors on this. They do it in more involved reading of this, but this particular one is pretty simple, all right? So Jacob calls his sons together because he's getting ready to die, all right? He says, number 2 is hearken to Israel, your father. 2. So what it is, that's Israel and Jacob. They're together. That's 1. So it actually makes 2. And I'm not going to do that for a little while. You could follow along with me. And this is Genesis chapter 49. All right. All right. So they start off with Reuben, and I didn't even write any of those down, but that's all right. Reuben is the firstborn. His name is Might. Hey, maybe I can do it as we go. Oh, no, we'll do it later on. Reuben is born, is the firstborn, is Might's beginning, excelling of power. He's telling them about themselves and what to expect. And so, because he's all knowing, whatever. But anyways, he says that Reuben, he is unstable as water, and he shall not excel. But he has the ability to excel. Simon and Levi are brothers. This is your Gemini, right? They are instruments of cruelty in their habitations. And so, O my soul, come into their secret, be not united, for they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. All right, so 6. That was number 6. So the duo, they're talking about you. So this is at first, Simon and Levi are you. You're in duality. So let's just allow that to happen for a little bit, and they kill a man. They kill someone. All right. Cursed are they by their anger and their fears, therefore, and whatever, and they're cruel. Will divide them. It says, for it was cruel. It will divide. I will divide them and scatter them in Israel. That's what he was talking about. I will divide them and scatter them through it in Israel. So Judah, thou art the one, brethren, that shall praise. They whom all shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy hand shall be in the neck of all thy enemies. My father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion, who from my own son is gone and stooped down, crouches like a lion, and who shall rouse him? All right, so this is getting pretty interesting. So this is Leo, all right, and 10, which becomes a 1 again. The scepter shall not depart Judah, nor the law given between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. All right, so Shiloh means, all right, so this is the scepter. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the law given from between his feet. If you can remember, this starts off from the bottom, the base of our spine. And it says in that word, until Shiloh come. That word Shiloh means the one to whom it belongs. All right, so it's really to whom it belongs when he comes. So it's really anybody. All right, this is what it's talking about. Binding his foal. This is his young horse to the vine, and his ass is colt to the choice wine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. So this is what is it? What number this is? Number 2. Or it's number 11, so it makes it 2. He washed his garments in wine. So this is all talking about Judah. You know, he's the exalted one. This is Leo. This is the hottest time of the day, and this is the end of the stories for most people. All right, and that's the way it is. And there's grapes, and all of this thing is what you eat and drink when you're red with wine and stuff like that. It's the new wine. This is your exalted. This is when they have the feast, right? Most of the time. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulon shall dwell in the haven of the sea. Shall for he be a haven of ships, and a border shall be unto Zion. Now this one here kind of flipped me out some, because I want to say that it's going to be Aquarius, but Zebulon winds up being something that doesn't work in that spot. Zebulon winds up being in the east, and Zebulon winds up being a prince, and that winds up being Libra. So it can't be this. So Libra on the Zodiac sign is right there before it goes under. This, and they usually say this is, when it goes down, when the sun goes down, it's dipping into the water, and sometimes it's raising out of the water, out of Mary, out of the water is where this is. The Mary, this is where a lot of this comes from. Even Jesus coming out of the water or walking on the water. Just give me a second on that. All right. But the whole point of this series is, even if I screw some of this up, a good portion of it's going to be correct. So we already know that the scepter and everything. Judah, they camp on the east side of things in the process of this, him and his group. And what's important about that is that he camps at the point of the rising sun. These are the people. This is Judah. This is where Jew comes from. This is where Jewish or people that are Jew, like you and I, that go and process this work from the inside of our body. We face towards the east, or we are more on the spiritual side of our mind, and not on the intellectual side. Intellectual side would be the black side, and a lot of people that are on black sides are either church people or atheists. All right. So, anyways, he goes on. He has Ishkar. Let's talk Issachar. I don't know how to say it correctly. Issachar is a strong ass. Crouching down between two burdens. Now, to me, this sounds like something that would be like, Libra, you know, where you've got he's crouching down between two burdens, you know. So it's like but that doesn't have anything to do with scale. So I was really miffed when I found this out, and I'm going to show you how this goes, how it's all going to work. But anyways, we're still all talking about the 12 signs of the zodiac. All right, and this is all from the Old Testament. We don't have any of the new guys in because they'll all fit in here perfectly once I do that one. The 12 apostles. All right. So Dan shall be the judge of his people, and one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, and the adder of the path. And that biteth the horse's heels, so that his rider falls backwards. Now, I always thought that was going to be Scorpio, because that's the backbiter. Oh, look, I just lost one of my eyeballs. Is this going to work? Maybe it will. Yes. But Dan winds up being Scorpio. Scorpio is Dan winds up being Scorpio. Is that how it works? Yeah, Dan winds up being Scorpio. Dun, 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 dun. The serpent. By the way, is his past. But anyways, because when it winds up being the scorpion has a bite. It's the kiss of death. That's what is left if you get bit by a scorpion. It looks like a kiss. And it's a backbiter. And of course, we know this as the spot of where Judas comes in as being where you're betraying the skin. And so this is the part where, you know, you're the betrayer, and now you're on your way to be killed, you know, and to die. So, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome the last. Now this one here, I always 9 and 1 is 10, which is 1. Gad, the truth shall overcome him, and he shall overcome the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and shall yield royal dainties. I'm not so sure what that is. Naphtali is the hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Joseph is the fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers who surely grave him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow was about with strength by his arms, made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From hence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. And they say even. We're on number 7, which is number 25 actually. Even. Of the God of thy father that shall help thee and all the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings from heaven above, blessings of the deep, that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. This is 7. This would be, you know, after the 6th chakra. So it's, and from the breast is that breastplate, which has to do with your chakra system and the jewels of this chest plate, and the womb, that we are giving birth to this child in the sorrows, you know, giving it up, right? The blessings of the fathers have prevailed above the blessings of my protagonists, or my progenitor, whatever, until the utmost bound. And the everlasting hills, they shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. That's 8. So 8 is the new you, who separated from your brethren, you know, and blessed is he who separated from his brethren. 9 for number 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning shall devour his prey, and at night divide the spoils. Let me see where Benjamin shows up on here. Better not lose this. Let's see where Benjamin winds up on here. Benjamin. He comes in as Aries. Benjamin is Aries. In the lamb area, and the God, and this is the sacrifice, perhaps, or something like that. Let's see what happens. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoils. I think that's just really talking about us. We are the lamb. We are the Lamb of God. So I would say that that's what that would mean. You know, when we have to divide the spoils at night, when they talk about at nightfall and stuff, a lot of that is when the sun solar plexus is going. And let's see, when the solar plexus is going south. All of these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And as is that the Father spoke of. And he blessed them. And he charged them to say to them, I'll be gathered unto my people. He's telling him he's about to die, and then he dies. He tells him where he wants to go. He's going off. He's left here with Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, and he and Leah. So all of these are really still just you, all of them, but they're all these different stories. And he wanted to be buried with his father. And when he was finished, he gathered up his feet into his bed, and he yielded up the ghost. And he was gathered unto his people. It was very interesting and very short tale. It really is. You know, I only make it sound long. So, you know, if you get a chance, you should just speed these things up, and they'll go a lot faster. So what I did, and this took the longest time, was trying to find out where all these people wound up. Because they're talking about the world, and he gave birth to this world, this part. And all of these guys mean something. Alright? So what I did is I found this stuff out. And I'm going to go over this first. Remember now, the east is going to be our left, which is our intellect. The right hand is going to be the spiritual side. We have the physical side as the south. And we have the emotional side, which is the north. Alright? So we're going to start off with the east. Those that pitch their tent and camp to the east is the camp of Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. Alright? Judah means goodness. Issachar means a man, Ishkar, man of reward, and Jeroboam means prince. This is the east. Those that camp to the north in the emotions, we get Scorpio, which is Dan, be judged, or he judged. We have Sagittarius, which is Nepali, and it says my struggle, my strife, and Capricorn. And this is the tribe of Asher, and it says happy and blessed. This is the emotion side. In the west, we have our intellect, and we have Aquarius, and we have Pisces, and we have Aries. Right? This is going, you already should know that this is going to be the mind, because this is what it means. So it's Ephraim is fruitful. All right, you know, it's what we think, it's how we bring things alive, you know, it's what we do, you know, it's that thing, Ephraim. We have Manasheth, all right, that's Pisces. This is cause to forget. You know, this is the idea that, you know, we want to get a brain erase of a lot of what we're observing and bringing and filling that side of our mind up and eating as our food. A lot of that just needs to be forgotten, you know. And so we also have Aries, which is Benjamin, and it says son of the right hand. All right, so do you see how that makes sense? Son of the right hand, son of the right hand of the Father. And if Joseph was supposed to sit in here somewhere, because I can't find a home for him, and he'd be right in here somewhere, His is like Abraham, this idea that he will add, you will, and that's the skin. You and I are this, we can add to us, and that's what this whole idea is about going inside and adding to us. Taking away crap. All right, and so now we have the South, which is the skin, our physical side. We have Taurus, Gemini, and what's after that is Cancer, Cancer. Can't believe I forgot those. So Taurus is Reuben. Behold, a son. Strong. Remember, he's the first, and he's strong, and he's mighty. And we have Gemini. Gemini is Simon and Levi. These are the twins that come out, the brethren that came out as brethren. All right. This Simon means he was heard, and Levi means joined or attached. So he was heard. If you knew it was you, when we go under, he was heard. One of these two is the one that's going up. Simon probably. Levi is the one that's attached. So one or the other would be that. Because of my dyslexia, I don't know which one that is, but you understand that idea. Cancer is Gad, and it's fortune and luck. So this is the physical side of our body. It doesn't say anything about, like burning it or hurting it or anything like that. It's giving it a positive read. All right, so on to the coolest part of this, and I was hoping maybe you could see this, but I'm going to put it in your mind. The Earth itself, with its north, east, south, and west. Just think about that. Now, what that usually sets itself up for is spring between Aries and whatever, and summer between such as Leo and all the way to the sunset, which is Libra, the Equinox, and that goes all the way down between that goes down to what would you be? It would be called Capricorn. And Sagittarius, and then it would go between to Aries. This is the halfway points between the four seasons. Now, when I wrote this out, when I drew this out on sign, I'm going to show you. Maybe this will work. Does this work? Can you see it? Maybe not, but you can stop this and probably draw it yourself. But to make it work right, the way we have to see it, north is actually, we're going at a different, north is down this way. Because all of those guys that are in the north quadrant of this, and I have it written down, those guys that are in the north, this is Dan, Nepali, and Asher. And where do they show up on here? They show up Dan, Nepali, and Asher. Dan, Nepali, and Asher. Do you understand that? Is it working? So it's going to the west is what it's going. And just to get this right, it's just absolutely wild. It's almost like everything is kind of upside down. It's opened up a whole new something to me, but that's the way these tribes read. And when you put them down on the map, our world is not necessarily going in a northerly direction, what you would consider north. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to show this, I'm going to put, there is a thing called a sine wave. And basically what they do is they fix it so that you have the path of the sun, and between the path of the sun you get a sine wave, and the higher place on Earth and the lowest place on Earth, and all of the 12 businesses run through it. So what I did is I give you this. You see that sine wave? That's two Earths side by side, so that you can see it as the sun goes all the way around the Earth. This is for you flat Earth motherfuckers, too. All right. And those circles, although there's not a lot of them, would be the constellations that the sun burns a path through. That's how we get the sun signs. That's why Ophiuchus is not in there. Remember, they're trying to slip in a 13th sign. It doesn't. The sun doesn't burn through it. The highest point on this is Capricorn. This is the Cancer. This is the highest it goes before it goes down again. That's why this is a crab. And down here, this is Capricorn. And Capricorn, that's why Capricorn becomes a goat, because he's got to climb up. There's a reason for the way our things look. All right? And these are the equinoxes. So what happens here, this is the highest and the lowest. This shows you that this is sort of where the north is. Our north is like that. All right? So, to show you this, I'll show you where Cancer would be the top, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Cancer and Capricorn down below. Do you see that? That's how it goes. So what direction do you think that we are traveling in space? How is it that we go about? Are we actually like upside down? We all the time. Are we more like upside down more than we... You know, this is just very interesting, and it raises a wonderful question. Notice I made a little crab up here so you can understand how that works. So anyways, that just found out to be pretty interesting. All right. A different source on the web has Jacob and his children. It's like this. Bilhah and Zephyl, these two women, these two half-sisters, and if you understand what half-sisters and half-brothers, these are all you. There ain't anybody else. All right. This is intercoursing with the left side of our brain. So is Rachel, by the way. She's a sister of Leah. Do you understand that? You know? All right, so Leah is the only one who is giving birth to the higher side of all these. Well, all of them are actually. Just let me get off of that. Leah and what's her name? They both give birth to two children. That's Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Rachel gives birth to two. That's Benjamin and Joseph. Leah herself gives birth to 7. That's Levi, Simon, Issachar, Zebulun, Judah, Dinah, and Reuben. And so that makes up 12 boys and 1 girl. So this list does not have those two names, that Ephraim and Manasseh. I can't really find those just yet. But in some way, they'll probably make up something. I'll find something that works out very well. But isn't that an interesting tale? All right? And each one of those guys, you know, actually means something. And later on, because these are the stars that fall from the sky and fall to heaven, and they're connected. We're connected to these things, and these are different aspects of ourselves. And I'll find out what those are, okay? And that'll be one of our next things that we talk about, all right? Again, thanks for waiting so long, and just speed this up. Speed this up. Love y'all. Bye.